Hey guys, what is going on? My name's Tyler McNabb, and this is my YFZ450R. So we are back in the garage today, and we're gonna do some fixing on the old YFZ because unfortunately, I actually noticed this before the last race, but I didn't have time to get it fixed, and so I left it. It wasn't really going to cause me really any issues. So I just went ahead and left it, but now that I've got about a 3-week break till the next race, I'm going to go ahead, get it fixed, make sure it's done right, and then I've also got some new parts to install on this thing as well. I don't know if I'm going to do that in this video. I may split it into 2 separate videos. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing, and have this video be fixing, and then the next video installing some cool parts on this thing. So anyway, I haven't done a video in about a week or so, at least filming. Last week actually, I was super busy helping out with my sister's wedding. Congrats to her and her new husband. They got married this last weekend, and so big congrats to them. It went pretty good and all that. So anyway, get back to the quad stuff. So now that I do have some free time and a little bit of a break, we're gonna get this thing fixed. And so to show you what is broken, we will move right down here real quick. So if you guys look in here, you see where that rust is, and so that is not supposed to be there. So what has happened is that is the steering stop, and it is pulled away, so it is moved that way. It is moved that way towards the front of the quad and broken away. And so what that means is eventually it's going to get bad enough to where it's going to break off, and then I won't have a steering stop. But it's also thrown off my steering angle a little bit because it was probably in my steering stem video install video, but I just never noticed it, and apparently nobody caught it on film either, because no one said anything. But when I adjusted that steering stem, the adjustable steering flag, they were both at weird, they were both different, which was kind of throwing me off. And so they were at different levels of adjustment, I should say. And so that kind of threw me off, but now I know why, is because that is, it's doing that. So we're going to fix that, and the way we're going to do that is, actually I've got some of the new parts sitting over here on the bench. Let me move them real quick over there to the side. But the way we're going to do that is with this little gusset kit. So here we have a gusset kit from J Shad Motorsports, or for those of you who follow the GNCC series, it is Jay Shadron who makes these and sells them for 55 bucks, so not a terrible price. But there are a couple weak points on these YFZs, one of them being the steering stem stop, or the steering stop, and the other one being just the front of the frame. So basically where those go, the first one welds right in here. Once we get this pushed back and welded in, that plate welds right in here. Let me move the camera a little bit. It welds right in here to basically brace the steering stop against the bearing holder down here. So that's where that goes, and then the bigger plate actually goes on the bottom of the quad right up in here. Not sure if I'm gonna have that welded in. I don't think I'm gonna do that quite yet, just because I haven't had an issue so far. Maybe I should, I'm not sure 100%. But anyway, the first part of this video, what we are going to do is we are going to get this thing stripped down a little bit. Luckily, I shouldn't have to go down to the frame and everything. The cool thing, it's somewhat good, somewhat bad. It has its pros and cons, but if you didn't know, the frames on these YFCs disassemble. So, like here you have like a main frame rail, and then right here it is bolted together, so you have another frame rail running up top. All this bottom piece right here is one piece. It comes out, and then this front section up here, kind of in this area, this is all one piece as well. And so what we can do is we can loosen these bolts here. There's a couple down here, and then there's a couple down here, or there's one down here behind the foot peg as well. If we loosen all those, we take the bottom motor mount out, and then we take the bottom A-arm bolts out and the steering stem nut off, then we can go ahead and we can drop that out, and it'll make fixing this 10 times easier than having to take the quad up there, somehow bend that back while it's still in the frame, because as you can see, not a lot of room in there. And then yeah, and then weld it up and all the gusset kit and everything. So what I'm gonna do is pop that out of there real quick. I already loosened a couple of the bolts just to make sure I could break them loose, and so hopefully I'll be able to get the rest of them. And then once we do that, we are going to head up to Rissler's Extreme ATV, my local shop that I talk about all the time, big sponsor of mine, and he's going to help me get that back in place and weld up the gusset kit for me. So right now, I've already been talking for like 6 minutes, so what we're gonna do is I need to get the Nerf bars off first, disassemble some other pieces, and we're just gonna try to go ahead and get the bottom of this frame off. So I'll probably do a lot of time lapsing here because I'm not sure exactly what all I'm gonna have to do, but we'll figure it out. So let's jump right into the video. Okay guys, well, we got our lower frame rail out of the quad as you saw. So as you can see here, there's nothing there. So we kind of got this thing sitting up on jack stands. Luckily the Nerf bar mount actually worked out pretty well. It's holding it up. And then I got the A-arms and tires propped up here. And then all this is actually pretty good back here. So we should be good to leave that like that. And then if we walk over here to the bench, you will actually see probably a little bit better of what is going on. So here is inside, here's your steering stem bearing right here. And as you can see right there, let's see, this is the bad thing about having a GoPro is they don't really focus, but you can see that crack right there, pretty prominent. And then you can see the threads down in here as well, those threads down in there. So what happens is, let me see if I can do this. I've got this adapter. This threaded nut slides down in here, and let's see if I can, yeah, basically it starts to thread in right there, and then that kind of holds the bearing down in there. And so the challenging part of this is going to be bending this back while also kind of lining up the threads. So yeah, that's going to be nice and fun. So I already started smacking on it a little bit, and I've bent it back just a little bit. This left side, or this, I guess it'd be the right side, it isn't too bad. It actually isn't cracked, it's just kind of stretched. But this side is like fully cracked. And then up here, or let's see if I can get it on camera, kind of down here is actually cracked as well. So I will probably try to get Roy at Risslers to tack weld this as best we can. And then to show you a little bit better, here is the front gusset that is going to go on, and where it's going to go is just right here. And all we're going to do is put some welds up top, welds down bottom, and once that's bent back into place, that shouldn't go anywhere after that. Then I'm going to flip this frame over real quick. My other gusset that I've got right here, I think I might as well probably go ahead and have him weld this on while we've got this out, but essentially I believe it just goes right here. So put that in place right there. It kind of keeps where they would be known for bending is right here. So what I'll do is probably tack weld this down and then bend these guys down so that they're on the frame right here, weld that gusset in place, and we'll call it good, so that this frame is fully gusseted and ready to go. So yeah, at this point I'm pretty much just going to try to go ahead and bend it back into place, get some of this paint ground off so that he can get a good weld on it, and then I will take this up to the shop either tomorrow or in the next day or two to have him weld it up for me. So I'm not sure if I'm going to film up there or not. We'll see if he's good with that. Get a little bit of film up there maybe. If not, I will see you back here. Okay, real quick, I did a little bit of beating on it and heating it up with the old acetylene torch, and or not acetylene, the map gas, that's what it is, a little map torch. And as you can see, I closed that gap pretty good. The nut still threads in and out. It's never going to be perfect since those threads are like kind of stretched, so I'll never be able to get it perfect, but it's pretty darn close, and it threads in and out. So I'd say I'm probably going to call it there. I will take it up to Risslers in the next couple days and have him weld it up, and hopefully we will be good to go. So now I will see you later. Okay guys, well, we are back here in the shop, and what do we have? We have a gusseted frame. So as you can see here, we got our plate welded onto the front. It is all welded on there, and pretty good looking welds. Got it ground down just a little bit to make them a little more attractive, but this doesn't need to be anything super attractive. It's just a small gusset to keep the steering stop in place. So as you can see, put a couple tack welds in here to heal that crack up on both sides. Unfortunately, as you can maybe see right here, that metal is super thin right there, and it gets even thinner from where they weld this on from the factory. So yeah, that's kind of the main reason they crack. That metal's already thin, then they weld the steering stop on, and it makes that metal even thinner, so it's just bound to crack. So if you have a YFZ, I would highly recommend go ahead, go on. I ordered mine from WaynesburgYamaha.com, but you can probably also hit up Jay Shadron on Instagram. He's one of the XC1 pros in the GNCC class. If you have a YFZ, I would go ahead, recommend ordering one of these gusset kits, especially for the steering stop, and get that welded in place so you won't have to worry about it. So we got that. Unfortunately, we haven't welded on this gusset plate yet. I've got it all prepped and everything to weld, but Roy, or Risslers was having a little bit of issue with their welding helmet, and so he couldn't, this one he just kind of had to do without his welding helmet, which worked out okay. Welds looked just fine, but the other one, he couldn't, because you got to weld quite a bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and get it assembled, and then I'm going to take it back up to the shop later this week once he gets that figured out, and all we'll have to do is just stand the quad up and he can weld that gusset in place. So yeah, but in order to wrap up this video and get this video out, because I haven't posted one in a little over a week at this point, I've just kind of been waiting on stuff. So I need to get this thing assembled. Unfortunately, I still am waiting on the seal for the steering stem bearing, the top seal, and it's going to be here today. It's out for delivery. I'm just waiting on it to show up. But hopefully, yeah, it'll be here relatively soon, and I can get this back in the frame. And for now, since this is raw steel, I'm just going to throw some quick can of black spray paint on it for now. I know it's probably not going to look the prettiest, but this is down underneath the frame where you can't really see it anyway, so it's not a huge deal. And next year when I get it all powder coated and everything, it'll be fine. So just to keep it from rusting and stuff, we'll throw a quick coat of paint on it, and then hopefully that seal will show up and I can get it back in the quad. So let's get to it. Okay guys, well, we got the lower part of the frame installed back and everything with it, and this thing is ready to go, all fixed up. So if we look at her in there, looks much better. This camera doesn't focus or anything, but hopefully you guys can see that. Spray painted her up real quick just to make sure it doesn't rust, and we're good there. So, oh man, this one has been a pain in the butt, just with everything, waiting on parts, and just getting everything back together was not easy. So unfortunately, yesterday I said I was waiting on a seal to show up. Well, unfortunately that seal never showed up, And so I just had to end up putting the old seal. What it was is the seal that sits on top of the steering stem bearing, so it's between the steering stem and the bearing. The old one was okay, but I just wanted to get a new one, go ahead and put a new one in there while I was in there. Well, unfortunately, it didn't show up. It was out for delivery, and then they just like canceled the delivery and delayed it until next week. So, oh man, I'm trying to get this thing back together before the race this weekend. I'm gonna be cutting it kind of close because I've got some other stuff I got to do to it, which is going to be in the next video, as well as I got a part, or I guess yeah, you could say a part, out at B&R Motorsports right now, and they're gonna get that back to me here shortly to make sure this thing's ready to go for the weekend. But anyway, I'm gonna end this video out, and then I'm gonna film another video that I'm not sure if you'll see it before the race or after the race, but I just want to go ahead and finish this video because I haven't posted one in a little over a week, and I want to get this wrapped up. So we got that going. Another issue that I did have, unfortunately, I had to run to the hardware store, and as you can see, that is not the factory foot peg bolt. That is a hardware store bolt with some washers, because for some reason, I don't know why, I got very, very lucky because I thought I stripped out the frame threads, but what it was is, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but you see that little silver strip right there. Like I said, this camera doesn't focus, but that silver strip is like some aluminum that I don't know if it's from the threads or if it was from something that was in the threads or what it was, but it boogered that bolt up and it wouldn't go in, and I thought for sure I cross-threaded that, and I was about to, I don't know what I was gonna do, but luckily I got another bolt, ran it in there. The threads inside the frame were fine, but for some reason that bolt is not fine. So I'll probably end up ordering a new foot peg bolt just to have one here for next time I do have to take that out, because I hate having different size head bolts on quads and stuff. If I'm going to do it right, I'm gonna pay a little bit of extra money and I'm gonna put an OEM bolt on it. That's just me. A lot of people don't really care about it. Me, on the other hand, I'm very OCD about that stuff. I wanna make sure all the bolts are the same size head, etc., etc. So anyway, hopefully you guys got something out of this video. To me, it felt like it was all over the place, and maybe it wasn't that good, but I just want to make sure I get a video out to you guys, because like I said, it's been a little over a week. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for the next video, whether it's the next extreme race video, or it may hopefully be installing some new parts. So I've got some cool new parts that I'm going to add to this thing, and I'll tell you about that B&R part as well in the next video that I'm waiting on from them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's been one heck of a video for me. I'm ready to wrap it up, so I will go ahead and do that. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.